Hey, this is True Love Aviary again. Here's the infamous sprouting video many of y'all have been asking about. So let's go through some basic materials. Number one, you need beans and seeds to sprout. So let's go through the basic types of sprouting beans that we use. These are garbanzo beans. These are rolled oats like you see in Nutriberries as part of Nutriberry. This is a mixture of mung and adzuki. The mung is green, the adzuki is red. In the future, actually, we're going to keep them as separate mixes because the mung tends to sprout a lot faster than the adzuki. And then these are green lentils. Now, you can get all of these beans in the bulk section at Whole Foods or Earth Fare if you have that in your area, but I would recommend that. Now, another thing you're going to need, if you can, we just started using this. This is apple cider vinegar. It's unpasteurized and unfiltered. And unfiltered is the important part. You want to see this kind of sediment on the bottom. That's really important. It's organic. You're going to need some sort of washing bowl and some sort of strainer. And then coffee filters, and then you're going to need some container to basically put all that in. And eventually it's going to look kind of like that. Okay, so now we're going to show you how to rinse the beans. Okay, I think today we're going to try to do some lentils, or some rolled oats. Which one would you like to do? You're going to do the lentils. Okay, so he's going to show you some basic lentils and how we do all this. Now we're just going to show you how it's set up, and then we're going to show you the final product. So we're going to come over here to the sink, and basically going to show you how we're going to rinse. So we're going to rinse through. You're going to want to rinse them. You're going to do about this 3 times. What you're going to do is you're going to end up putting them in there. You're going to soak them for a little while. Now he's going to put some water in there. And we use some of the filtered water for these soaked. Alright, now if you see any of the beans or whatever floating, you're going to want to remove those. That means that the bean probably is not going to do well. So anything at the bottom is great. So there you go. We see that we're soaking them here, or starting the rinsing process, excuse me. So here he's going to dump that water again. He's going to rinse it again. Now you can let them soak for a little bit longer than this so you can really cleanse them. And then what he's going to do after this is he usually adds the apple cider vinegar to this water mixture. So you might want to open that and add that. Then make sure we're going to dump this water too. Now, we've not used apple cider vinegar for very long. You don't have to use them, but what the apple cider vinegar does is it's kind of like a preservative, and it locks out the bacterial potential. And he's just going to use a little bit of it, and he's going to let that set for a little while. Now, normally what we do is we let it set for just a little bit while in that water, and then we'll rinse it again. Okay? So we're going to pretend here that we have let them set, and now we're going to rinse them again and show you how we're going to leave them to soak. Okay? You probably hear it thundering in the background. We actually got a big storm going on right outside our house, but it's all good. So he's rinsing them, and now you want to rinse them pretty good. You don't want the cider on there. That's just, like I said, you'll eventually have it soaked in so that it won't allow bacteria to grow. Alright, so now what he's going to do is he's going to soak them. And all we do, you don't need to put the beans soaking or the seeds soaking in the sunlight. In fact, we just leave them in our kitchen out of direct sunlight. But he's going to leave them, and what we'll do is we'll let them soak probably for about 8 hours or 10 hours, depending on how often we can. Sometimes we'll let them soak overnight. We'll just leave them on the counter just like that. Okay? Now, since we're kind of demonstrating what we're going to do and how to set it up, we're going to go ahead and just speed up the time like it's 8 hours later. Now he's going to go through and he's going to dump them out. Filter out the water. Okay? And he's going to rinse them one last time. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to take a coffee filter. The reason I like coffee filters is, number one, it can also take out any last things that might be dirty in there, but it can also help to allow the water to stay with it without causing anything to get kind of slimy or gross, which is really great. So we've used 2 coffee filters here.
We're going to go back to the sink.
Okay.
Now, I have a trick. You don't want to soak these things, but I have a trick. What I do is I let the water run on the sink, and I soak up the water.
Yeah, they don't need to be real wet. They just need to be damp. So when you're setting this up, you're just doing a damp. And what you do is you usually just leave it in there, and then you'll add water as it's sprouting to keep it damp. You don't want it to dry out, because then you're obviously not creating the conditions that you're able to do sprouting. It does take water to sprout.
But not sunlight.
Yeah, and not sunlight. Okay, so now we're over here. We've got this set up. Now he's going to dump the beans on there. He's going to just spread them out real nice. And then we will leave these for several hours, several days, depending on how long it takes a certain bean to sprout. And they'll be just kind of spread out over the bottom fairly well. And what you're going to do is you're going to look for basically sprouting like this, where we have just a little tail going on. It doesn't need to be a long tail. In fact, you're looking more for like a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch tail. And then obviously they love them. So just keep it damp while it's sprouting. It doesn't need to be real wet, and he just throws out the stuff he doesn't want, but he loves it. But these are great sprouts. Obviously, if you look, the mung beans are the ones that have sprouted here. The adzuki actually need a little bit more time, so what we'll end up doing is probably pulling out the mungs that have sprouted and leave the adzuki to sprout a little bit longer. So a couple of them have started to sprout, but mung sprout faster than adzuki. So just use your best judgment. I think Pigwidgeon wanted some sprouts there, but use your best judgment. And usually, like I said, you should probably keep everything kind of separate while it's sprouting. This was just us trying to be quick and wash them all at the same time. Of course, BB loves sprouts, so all of our birds do. And you can actually add this into your daily diet, and they really like it. And it's very, very good for them, by the way. This is excellent healthiness for them. So, all right. Look at Pigwidgeon. He's like, hey, I want some sprouts. Look at him. He's like, sprouts! I love Pigwidgeon. Good job, Pigwidgeon. Yeah. So I hope that helps. Like I said, go out and get you some green lentils, some mung and adzuki, some rolled oats, and some garbanzo beans. So, all right. If you have any questions, leave a comment, email us, whatever you want. trueloveaviary.blogspot.com. Yummer.